looking at now is a deck that is just ready to come out of the mold. All of the laminating process has been completed. We've looked at how the layers of fiberglass have been laid on, where the stiffeners have been applied, and now we've put all of the storage boxes. These are dry storage compartments. When the deck is turned upside down, or the right side up actually, when that's turned over, these will be storage boxes. Here are the live wells. But these are built out of the same fiberglass that your hull and deck are built out of. And we will put these on the hull and actually foam around them, so they're a very solid, integral part of this one-piece feel that we've engineered into the boat deck and hull from the very beginning. And that's one of the trademarks of a Ranger boat, is to have that one-piece feel integrated in all of the design that we've done in this whole system. So these live wells have been fiberglassed on to all around the edges. So your live well has been sealed to the deck while it's in this position, so that we can see the perimeter. And as that's allowed to dry, then we'll lift this entire thing up out of the mold, turn it over, and it'll be mated up with its hull. The closed cavity bag molding is a process where we can get exact uniformity, and we can control the weights and the thicknesses of these boxes time after time. So we're getting a uniformity here with fiberglass, so we're minimizing the weight and making sure that we have the integrity and the strength in the box that we can only get using the same process that we use to build our hulls and decks. At this point, we have fiberglass on, as you can see here, this rigid stiffening member that goes across the back deck. This will be over by the lid on the rear casting platform. These protruded members are standing on edge to give transverse stiffness to the back deck. And we've put several members like that into the deck in strategic areas. Also, we've added the chases for plumbing, for the electrical wiring, and all of the things where the tubing provides a chase, because you've got to remember that we're going to foam this entire area. Unlike many other boats, you will see that on a Ranger, between the hull and the deck, again, to establish that one-piece feel, we're going to foam these two together. So we have to provide areas for the steering cable, the steering tubes, the wiring, any plumbing, any fuel lines that have to go forward. They'll be housed in these tubes or cables. As they lower this machine into place, they will strap the deck to it. What will happen is, when we lift this apparatus up, the deck will come up with it, leaving the mold or the fixture on the floor. The deck is from 18 to 22 feet long, depending on the model, of course, that we're pulling out of the mold. But this apparatus gives stiffness to the part so that we can protect it until we get it out of the mold and get it into its hull. And all the curing process now is complete. We'll turn this over, and while it's in the upright position, do an immediate inspection of the deck to make sure that everything is meeting specification. And then it will go directly from here into a trimming area where a lot of cutting and hole drilling will take place for the various components to be installed. Once again, this fixture gives stiffness, as you can see, to the deck that otherwise we couldn't get. So that's kind of a unique part of our manufacturing. We're really going to handle this deck with tender loving care now that it's a new Ranger, and it'll be mated up with the hull that's being pulled out on the other side of the plant. We now have the deck, all the cutouts made for the boxes and where the fuel tank will go, holes drilled for various components. And one last time, we will turn this deck over, and in that position, we will start the foaming process on the deck. We do the foaming in several processes, but the hull is foamed while it's still in the mold, and this deck will be foamed while it's in this position, because it's the best place to get to all of the various crooks and crannies and crevices where we fill with foam. What he's doing here is getting into these areas that will be almost impossible if we were to wait until the deck was put on the hull. We're wanting to ensure that it's completely filled in these areas. The foam is about a 2 1/4 pound density per square foot, and is a closed cell foam so that it doesn't absorb moisture. He's applying a bonding putty to the bottom side, the cockpit sole of this deck. This is the last step before it's turned over and put inside the hull. As you can see, once this sets to the bottom of the floor of the boat, it's one piece forever to be together. It's not intended to be unscrewed or taken apart. That's how we get this solid one-piece feel under your feet. What we're doing here is spot riveting the deck to the hull. and that's just to hold it in place till the laminating can occur and all the foaming process where we're going to build this into one piece. We'll come back later and put the outer trim on and put it on with stainless steel screws, but this process is just to hold it or to jig it at the proper height so that we can start laminating the hull to the deck. We'll go in on all the storage boxes that we can access. We will fiberglass those to the floor, establishing bulkhead so that we can foam in between each one of those areas. He will weight the inside of the boat so that the floor, the part that we saw him put the bonding putty on, is completely adhered to the bottom of the floor. Those weights will stay there a few hours till that dries, and then the next process can take place where we'll actually be fiberglassing the parts together. All of the things that we've done here have been from the gel coating process to the laminating to putting the storage boxes in place to foaming all of these components. We have taken these two major components with a lot of other live wells and lids and things like that and put them together, and now we have one piece. And that's one of the things that makes Ranger so unique, is that we have a one-piece boat. When we put those two together, we never intend for them to be taken apart again. So when that deck is laminated to the hull, as I've said probably many times before, but it's so important, that's one of the things that makes a Ranger a Ranger.